Hello guys, my name is Luke and I'm very proud to introduce you to the new ASUGA XLR buggy from Team Coralie. In this video I will tell you more about the idea that stands behind this product. I will show you what comes in the box, how to start with it. Of course I will highlight some of the details and the most important features of this car. And what is more, I will explain to you a little bit more the one-page manuals, the brand new maintenance system that we designed especially for this car, that will allow you to basically make your life a little bit easier and shows you how to change, repair and maintain each and every part of this car. So what's the idea behind this product? It's quite simple. People love to drive buggies, myself included, because of their handling, because of the speed and overall performance. But there's one disadvantage with the 1/8 scale buggy. They are not very capable on a super rough terrain that plenty of bashers, myself included, loves to drive at. So what we do, we make this car 15% bigger than a standard 8 scale buggy, so you can roughly compare it to the size of our truggy lineup like Shogun or Muraco. Basically the wheelbase is around the same, the width is similar, but it's still buggy, it still handles like a buggy, the performance is still amazing, and what is more, this buggy have around 70% parts compatibility with our entire lineup. So if you would love to tune your previous versions, previous models with the parts that are here, most of them will of course fit. That's of course the first car like this on the market, and I'm absolutely sure that you guys will love it as much as I do, basically. So it comes in 3 different body colors, red, blue, green. They are absolutely the same, only different body and stickers on the wing colors. What is more, you can buy it as a roller or RTR. I will explain a little bit more about the electronics later. So now let's move to like more inside details. Let's take this body off. The example I have here is the red version, of course, RTR, fully equipped with Team Coralie electronics. I won't spend too much time explaining each and every detail. For this you can check word.coralie.com and also our social media, also YouTube, with the special like presentation video that we make especially for this car, when you simply can plan all of the details that are in the car. But for me, most important ones, we totally redesigned and beefed up a lot the central bracing and of course the braces for the arms. So first of all, you have this huge brace in the center, the plastic part that comes from the tower to the chassis, very near the central gearbox, also from the central gearbox to the front of the car. This is already the new design that we have for to tune 2021 models. Also this huge rigid metal plate here that connects to the central gearbox case. And the most important thing for me is brand new system for the braces here, front and rear. They are all aluminum, 8mm thickness. The front ones is just a hole, straight hole here for the pin, And in the rear, you can see the plastic inserts that allow you to make the rear angle, like rear toe-in angle. What is more, they are secured to the chassis, so not like previously only this 4 screws that goes through the skid plate to the plastic bulkhead, but also 4 screws that connects the chassis to the braces itself. For me, it's an absolutely best update we've done with this car, and it makes the durability, far better. What is more from standard things, 5mm towers, shocks that you are familiar with from the 2021 lineup, hard spring included out of stock. The wing is not the same like the previous one, like the Boogie lineup, it's a little bit bigger. And of course, brand new tires. As you can see, they are far different than the previous ones. The tread, the profile and everything is especially designed for 6S power. They are 130 millimeters diameter. And basically, one more important thing. You can notice these red colors around the pins and pivot balls. So at the end of the arms, there are aluminum colors that comes not glue, but you can glue it if you like, to prevent it from like ripping off from the plastic. So it also adds more durability. Of course, heavy duty steering knuckles, links, plastic links, both front and rear. I think that will be it for the basic introduction. I hope you guys love it as much as I do, and let's move to the unboxing basically, and I will show you what comes in the box and how to start running with this car. What comes with the box? Basically, of course, the car in the version you get it, so RTR or roller, fully equipped with painted body, decals on the wing, basically as you can see right now. The CT2R radio system, binding plug to bind the transmitter to receiver, antenna pipe, the end cap for the antenna, and of course the set of manuals, quick start guide for the car, CT2R manual, and the Torox, the ESC manual. It's basically everything you need with the car. The only thing you need to remember, all of those manuals and more you will be able to find at support.corai.com or at word.corai.com in the showroom page of the car. At the end you can see the support section when you can download all of the manuals. You can see all of the links to the videos, to the one-page manuals, basically everything that you need to know about the car. So what about the power system? The Asuga is 6S capable, but remember, these cars are extremely fast. So if you are a beginner and that's probably one of your first big cars, I would really recommend to start with the 4S because it's fast enough, probably faster than most of the cars on the market on 6S, and it's far more than enough to start with. If you want a little bit more, and that's probably my sweet spot, is the HV batteries. So it's a little bit more than standard 4S, and this little bit more punch make the car performance just this slide better, that makes me smile more basically. And for the 6S system, if you have a room, if you have a nice area to to really unleash this beast and fly with the biggest speed, just do it. It's plenty of fun. So what you should do before you start this car? I always like to do with whatever car you buy, not only this, I like to visually check if everything works right. Take the body off, check if the screws are on its place, if everything looks like it should, check if the suspension is working, if there's no glitches, if there's nothing wrong with it, check if the diffs are working, front and rear, of course, check if it moves 3D, and basically see if there's nothing wrong visually out of the box. Check the screws at the bottom if they are all flat, and basically that's it. What is more, I already did it. Cut the antenna cable, plug the end to secure this antenna on its place. So let's turn it on. You can do basically two things. Either you will lose the car stand. So what you need to do is lift the car off the ground, because if you made any mistake, the car will just run off your table, and that's nothing you want to do. Or alternatively, you can take out the tires, just simply unscrew them, put them on a place, and then it can sit flat on the table. Also remember to check if the nuts on the tires are solid here and are properly tightened, because the last thing you want to do is to start running the car and the wheel will just fly away. So now let's put the battery in the car. I know it's a very simple thing, it's just a Velcro, but I want to highlight the cable management, because I feel it's highly overlooked thing, and you may damage the cables or the ESC when you do it wrong. So what I like to do, simply connect the cable and strap all of those wires under the Velcro, so everything is firmly secured and there's no loose cables just wobbling around the inside. So this one here, I also like to catch the balancer cable, so I'm sure it won't be damaged during some crazy stunts. Do it tight, make sure it sits here like it should, and basically that will be it. Of course, before you turn the car on, you need to put the batteries in the transmitter. 4 AA batteries are fitted here. It's as easy as it is. And very important thing, you always want the radio to be in control. So you always want the radio to be turned on first and turned off last. So basically first the radio, then the car. Right, so as you can see, everything works. Check the steering if you have left to right movement, if right is right and left is left. If not, you have this ST normal reverse setting. If you turn it on reverse, now you can see right is left, left is right. That's wrong. Turn it back on the proper position. It's of course set up properly out of the box. What is more, before you start driving, I always love to change the aim points to prevent the servo from damaging. So when you turn the car and the servo reaches limit and you can still steer it, that's not ideal. What I like to do is just move the dual rate a little bit smaller, so there's no extra pressure on the servo, because servo is trying to turn but it reaches its mechanical limit, so it'll just stag in the position and will just try to push where it cannot. and the servo may overheat and break. So, when the steering is done, now it comes to the throttle. Don't push it all the way down at the very beginning, just simply hold the car to be sure it won't run off the table and gently try the throttle if front is front and rear is rear. Alright, so as you can see, the car is moving forward, it's braking, it's moving backward, all works like it should. And the very last thing, remember about the steering trim. So you want the car to drive straight. Of course, you cannot do it on the table, you need to do it outside. So there is this steering trim here on the radio, and with this trim you just want to set up the wheels to drive straight. Of course you can see it on the table a little bit, but basically you will need to do it on the ground. Drive slowly and set the trim to make the car run straight. Do not move the throttle trim. It's made for the nitro cars where the servo controls the throttle. So basically you want the throttle trim to be at 0 and that's it. The ESC connects to the radio automatically, so when you turn the car on, it looks for the 0 position. If the radio is not at 0, at neutral throttle, it won't start. So when you turn the throttle wrongly, the ESC won't find the 0 position on the throttle and you will have no power basically. So keep the throttle position at 0 and that's basically it. Of course, when you take the car outside, always use the body. The body is not only for the looks, it also protects the what's inside the car. Always remember to put the clips on its place, just like this, and now you can have plenty of fun with your new ASUGA XLR. So what do you do after the run? You need to follow a few very important things. First of all, take the body off, turn off the car first, then you can turn off the radio, of course, and never left the batteries in the car while you are not driving it for a longer amount of time. The batteries, of course, needs to be fully charged when you start the car, but after you drive, you need to put them in the storage option. So basically, each and every modern LiPo charger have the storage option. So when you drive it, after you drive it, put it in safety bag, storage it, and put it on the shelves. This way you will be sure that the battery condition will be perfect each and every time you run it. You won't damage the battery and you won't have absolutely no issues with powering this beast. Alright, that will be it. Let's move on to the one-page manuals. So very special thing that we add to the Asuga is the one-page manuals. Basically there are short manuals of how to do anything on your car. How to replace any of the parts, how to disassemble it, how to work on this car. It comes as a set. So PDF file with the part numbers with step-by-step explanation, plus the video series, so you will be able to see while I'm doing it, and of course check all of these small details, small tips and tricks of how to do it. So if you are experienced, PDF is most likely everything you need, but if you are not, I encourage you to check the video series because combined PDF and video gives you all of the information you need to maintenance the car. What you will find on the PDF are of course the part numbers for each and every part you will disassemble, so it's very easy to track what parts you need to change. Of course the PDF file, you can print them. There's a QR code on it, so it's direct link to the video on YouTube. I'm really curious to see what you will think about this, and I can wait to see your comments. Of course, remember, English is not my first language, so there are some mistakes. I already noticed this, but I guess I'm quite confident everything is understandable, and if you combine it with the PDF, there will be no room for mistake while you're working on your car. So while I was working on the car, you can already see that I do some basic preparation before I start doing anything. So what I always do when I start working on the car is, of course, take the body out and the wheels and tires. Why? Because plenty of things that you work on the car, when you work on the place where you're bashing, of course you don't have to take the wheels off in most cases, but of course for the video sake it's far easier to see this, it's far easier to work on it, and when you have dirty tires on your table it's not very fun to work on the car. What is more, in plenty of places some of the parts like wing, for example, are moving in the way of the camera and you cannot really see what I'm doing. So to simplify it and make it easier to watch and easier to understand, in plenty of places I take the wing out, some other parts out too, only for this video sake, to make it clearer for you watching. What is more, that's not the car I record the videos with. I do it with the prototype. So there are few changes in the final production version, like the engravings on the chassis. Here's none. Some cuts in the tower, some engravings here and there. So basically you can see some of the changes. So please keep in mind, it was recorded on the prototype, and the final version you can see at word.corally.com with all the engravings, all the details and everything like it should be. Of course, many of you can say that you can change something differently, you can take a different order, especially when you work on two parts at once, for example, both arms or something else. And you are right, of course there's plenty of ways to work on your RC car, and mine is not the only one, but certainly it's one of the easiest, and if you follow this procedure you will be sure that everything will go okay and you will be able to do all the maintenance properly. There's also one important notice that I really want to highlight. As you will see on all of the videos, I'm only using hand tools, I'm not using power tools, and there's two reasons for it. Because first of all, buying the power drill is not necessary to work on the car, and for most of the beginners it's far more convenient to just get a set of standard screwdrivers and work your way out with this. Of course you can use power drill, but here you need to be very careful. When you do not set the clutch properly, if it's basically too tight and you forget about it, it's quite common, you will kill the threads mostly in plastic parts. And what is more, if the power drill is too fast and you are screwing very long screw, the material gets heat up so badly you will also be able to kill the thread, and that's certainly nothing that you want to do. So for all that begins your journey with the RC cars, I highly recommend to use standard screwdrivers, hex drivers, and not power tools. But if you are experienced, of course all of this can go a little bit faster, and with the advantages of power tool, of course, you know, certainly you will be just quicker, yeah. and basically that's it. Alright, and when we come to the power drill, it's also one very important thing that it's nearly impossible to explain via video. It's how much tension, how much power you need to put the car together. So basically, do not overdo it. You don't need like extensive force to push the screw inside, rip the threads, or damage any other plastic parts. The force must be significant, but it's not like you need to hammer it down or use T-shaped keys to, you know, put it all the way down the hardest you can. You need to feel it. How to do it comes with experience, but basically don't go too far. If you are ripping the screws, it means that you push too hard. The one thing that you won't be able to see on the video but are highlighted in the manual is where and how use the thread lock. So what I do usually is I'm taking this parts tray, of course thread lock, pour a little bit on the side like here, just make a little dot, and when I'm taking the screw, preparing to put it in a place, I just dab it in the thread lock. Sometimes I just move it around, and that's how I prepare my screw. So each and every time when I'm using the thread lock, you will see I just move my hands out of the video screen and basically just dabbing my screw in the thread lock. That's how I like to prepare it. Of course, you can pour it directly on the screw, but what I don't like to do is to overdo the thread lock and put it like tons on it, because when it's fixed, when it's finally screwed, of course the screw won't come off when you don't want to, but it will be hard to take it off when you really want to take it off. So don't overdo it. What I usually do is use medium or even hard thread lock, just to be sure it stays firmly, but use very low amount to be sure I will be able to just screw it off when I want to. Of course, there's a huge topic of how to clean the car. Of course, I'm working on a brand new vehicle, so everything is super nice for me, and I always love to work with the new cars, but it's rarely the situation. Most likely you will have the whole entire car in dust, and it will be messy as hell. So before you start working on the car, just try to brush it, try to if you have air compressor, try to spray it with air and take the most of the debris out of the car. That will allow you to make your maintenance simply easier and more comfortable. What you need to take a special care when we are working on the car are the cables and all of the electronics. So I know people likes to take the electronics off or just put it under the water and clean it under the water, under the hose, or even in the car cleaning station. It's not a good idea, because when the water comes inside the bearings and all of the mechanical components, they will just be damaged, won't work anymore. And what I would really like to convince you is simply use some brush, air compressor, and just spray it all of the car. You don't want to spray, like if you use some WD-40 or some other cleaning chemicals, remember not to like spray them inside the bearings, because you will also damage them. When you are using double-side tape in any occasion, for example, if you change the ESC or with the roller you are installing different ESC than the Coralie one, you will need to tape the ESC to the place. And here it's very important, before you tape it with a double side tape, please remember to clean it with some solvent like the brake cleaner, to be sure the connection is firm and it won't fall off the car when you are driving. Same goes to cables and everything around the cables. Be very careful here. You don't want to rip the cable off when you're unplugging it from the receiver. Just simply be careful. And when you're routing the cables around the chassis, be sure it's not stuck between two parts. And when you are tightening the battery tray or anything else, you simply don't want to smash the cable, because if you do, you will cut the connection, and basically the ESC will be most likely damaged beyond the point of repair. What about the setup? That's a huge topic that I won't be able to cover in this video, but the basic choice of oil and differentials are written in the manual. You can set it to off-road, bashing or track use, so from softest to hardest setup, but all of this comes with your preference. I know drivers that likes to drive with super hard oils that vary the huge tension over the drivetrain, but some people that comes mostly from racing, like me, I'm driving very soft oils, especially in the diffs, something that none of the bashers would ever use. So it's up to your personal preference, and simply drive with whatever's fine for you. Test, try, that's the whole another thing about this hobby, that you can set this car up to yourself, up to your preferences. It's very fine, and you know, as a racer, that's for me a different story, but even if you are only bashing, it's super fun part of this hobby, that you can really change the characteristic of your car and do stunts that you won't be able to do before, and fit the car to your needs. So let's speak a little bit about the tools and the workbench. That's not what I'm usually using when I'm working on my cars, because when you are working on a hard surface like this, all of the screws will just fly all around your tables, and it's not perfect to work on. I did it because of the video. On the white background you will be able to see each and every screw and each and every detail, but of course if you are working at home, what you want to have is a pit mat like this. As you can see, it's already quite worn. With this, none of the screws will fly all over the table, and your wife or girlfriend will thank you for not messing the kitchen table, but it all will stay on the mat like this. The second thing I'm not using on the videos is the tool stand. It's not because I don't like to or prefer it without it. It's only because it's hard for the video. It's hard to film it. The car gets closer to the camera, and it's not always perfect for video sake. So I'm not using this only because I'm filming this for you guys. So let's talk a little bit about the tools. I do like to use this Coralie tool set. It contains all of the basic tools you need for the job. Of course, in the video description you will be able to see the link to the presentation of this product, but out of the box you have all of the tools, or almost all of the tools that you need to maintenance the car. So all of the nut drivers, hex drivers, T-wrench, 5mm L-shape Allen key, shock pliers, wheel nut tool, and all of the other good stuff that really helps with working on the car. What you should add to this? Simple pliers. Sometimes they are just more useful than the shop pliers. Hobby knife. Sometimes you will need to use scissors to cut some stuff. And two not very commonly used tools, but one of my favorite is this dentist tool. It's like this little needle, or however you can call it. It's very cool when you reach hard areas, when you want to take the mat out of the screw, so you will just like do something like this and clean the screw socket, so it will be easier to take the screw out. It's very useful universal tool that you can buy very cheaply at any medical store. What is more, I'm constantly using this magnetic pencil to grab the screws from the areas. Of course, you don't have to use it because you will just flip the car and shake it off. But of course, for the video's sake, it's far easier to do it this way, and this focus will not constantly change. What is more, I'm always using my parts tray, as I showed you before, for the Loctite here, and that's basically it. You don't need much more to work on the car. You need far less to start working on the ERC car, but that's something I would recommend you to get to start with. Of course, you will need some chemicals, so greases, blue grease for the shock, lithium grease for the gears, thread lock for the metal to metal connections, and of course shock and diff oils if you want to change them. Don't rush with working on your car. It's not a race, it's not that important, you can do it slower, but be very careful, gentle and precise, because the better you will prepare the car for driving, the better it will drive for you. And as one of my friends says, the 5P rule: perfect preparation prevents poor performance. Before we finish, I want to highlight few things and send you to some places that will help you explore our lineup and of course reach for help. So if anything is wrong with your vehicle, don't worry, those cars are under warranty. So if you need from us anything, please write us at support.corai.com. You can simply register, track the tickets, and we are very responsive, so you will be secured, and all of the issues, troubles or questions you have, you will be fully covered. So go to support.corai.com, register to follow the tickets, to have the email notifications and everything, and just don't hesitate to contact us. If you want to check this car and any other car from our lineup, see all of the manuals, one-page manuals, tips, tricks, features, detailed explanation of what's in the box, what's required, you can visit word.corai.com. Each and every car have its showroom, and you will be able to learn all of the details. Basically all of the knowledge about the car that you need is placed there. You will also find the exciting action video, presentation video, and basically every piece of information that we can give you about any car that we have. If you are looking for the dealers, check dealers.corai.com. It's a map when all of the dealers are listed with the addresses and contact informations. So if you have any problem with the car, the best way is to go to the shop and ask them directly if you bought the car at the local hobby store, because plenty of the things are almost impossible to diagnose via simple email. I know we already did help plenty of people, and it really helps. But there are specific issues that cannot be solved via email, and the best way is to contact the shop that you bought the car at. Go to them; they will help you to proceed with the with troubleshooting, and of course, if there will be a warranty case, they will also do it for you. It's also a very personal project for me. All of this is made for you to make your work on the car far easier, and especially for the beginners who struggle with starting the maintenancing and fear about doing anything to their cars. Don't be. It's not that complicated. It's not that hard. Everything comes with the experience. Surely you will make some mistakes, but nothing that cannot be corrected. And simply enjoy the hobby that we all love so much. Alright, so I will wrap this video right now. I will surely take this beast for a spin. Have fun!
The Asuga XLR from Team Corrali, engineered to be the fastest.